Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, today's topic is a response to a comment that I received recently on one of my videos. And in the comment, this person said, actually, the way it really is, I just love it when religious people say, actually, the way it really is that all goddesses are one goddess. This is what this person said to me. I'm not saying it. She said it. And she said it in response to one of my videos that she watched where she said, actually, all the goddesses are one goddess. So I decided to respond to this today, to this claim that all the goddesses are one goddess. And I would like to just make some points to reinforce my claim. And so, without any further ado, all the goddesses are one goddess revisited. Now, as a simple introduction, if you believe that all the goddesses are one goddess, then what you have to believe is you have to believe all the stories that were ever told about those goddesses. And you have to believe in all the gods that are featured in those stories. And then you have to believe in all the gods in the other stories about those gods that you ever read about. And pretty soon you've got a whole pantheon to believe in. And this is probably what a lot of these people want. This is what a lot of these people like. They like believing in a pantheon. So, they're pantheists, and they believe in a pantheon, and they believe in all of these different gods and goddesses all simultaneously. And what they like to say is all the goddesses are one goddess and all the gods are one god. This is what they claim. This is what they claim. So I would like to show you what the logical consequences of that belief system are. To begin, you would have to believe that the goddess was raped by Zeus, as was the goddess Hera, then married Zeus, her rapist, who was actually her own brother. Then you'd have to imagine she got jealous whenever Zeus had an affair with another female. Obviously not our goddess. So this reiterates the point that if you believe that all the goddesses ever invented in the history of humankind are one goddess, and that she represents all of them, that she was all of these different goddesses, then you also have to believe that she married her brother, who was her own rapist, which is Zeus. Or you'd have to believe that she turned a man into a stag as a punishment for seeing her nude, so that he would be ripped to pieces by his own hounds, as did the goddess Artemis, known to the Romans as Diana, still not our goddess. So you'd also have to believe this preposterous story that the goddess turned a man into a stag, like a deer, as a punishment for seeing her nude. And then he was then subsequently ripped to shreds by his own hounds because he had turned into a stag. That is what you have to believe if you believe that all goddesses are one goddess. It continues. Or you would have to believe she was insanely jealous of a mortal girl and sent her own son to kill her, but he accidentally stabbed himself with one of his own arrows and fell madly in love with the girl. Further, you would have to believe that she set the girl with a series of impossible tasks to perform, as did Aphrodite, known to the Romans as Venus. Okay, so you'd have to believe this preposterous story about Psyche and Aphrodite if you believed all the goddesses were one goddess. And not only would you have to believe that Psyche is a goddess too, so you'd have to believe that that the goddess was opposed to herself and set herself a series of impossible tasks and was jealous of herself. It's an impossible belief based upon what these ancient religions taught. It's an impossible belief. Let's turn to the East for a while. In this case, you would have to believe Goddess is bloodthirsty, wears a garland of human heads around her neck, and does a dance of destruction, as did the goddess Kali. In addition, you would have to believe that Goddess catches every drop of blood that falls from a demon on her tongue to prevent the drops of blood from growing into little baby demons when they hit the ground, also like Kali. So here's another impossible belief. The belief that she catches every droplet of blood from a demon on her tongue so that the drops of blood don't grow into new demons. That's the goddess Kali. And you have to believe that she wears a garland of human heads around her neck as a necklace, and that she's bloodthirsty. Or perhaps you believe that Goddess has many arms, each one brandishing a weapon, and that she goes out to do battle with demons, riding on the back of a tiger, as does the goddess Durga. Okay, so the goddess Durga, many arms, and each one brandishing a weapon, and she rides on the back of a tiger. So the story goes. It's what they claim. This is but a small sampling of the many goddesses and the stories told about them. And if you believe in the goddess, you must believe in the gods as well, and every story told about them. Soon you have a whole pantheon from every conceivable world religion, past and present, to worship. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to believe in all these abysmal stories told about Goddess when you can believe in just one goddess as her sweet self? And I didn't even mention Athena, Greek goddess of warfare, and her exploits on the battlefield as recorded in the Iliad. Our goddess wants nothing to do with warfare, except if it helps the forces of good. She is not a bloodthirsty monster, but far rather loves each of her creations and mourns each one of them. So in conclusion, Goddess is one goddess. She's just one goddess, just one. And saying that many goddesses are one goddess is an unsustainable belief that leads down the garden path of believing in all of these myths from mythology and all of these stories told about goddesses and all the stories told about the gods that were in the stories about the goddesses, and a whole pantheon. You have to believe the whole pantheon. And you have to believe in every single one of them. And you have to believe that all the goddesses were one goddess and all the gods were one god. Obviously not true, because we have one goddess, and one goddess is all we need. The whole universe started as a point the size of a period at the end of a sentence. Do you think that there were many gods and goddesses in that one point? If you do, you believe in pantheism. But if you don't believe that, if you believe in one goddess originated that one point, at one little point originated with the one and only goddess, then you don't need to believe in all this pantheon stuff. You don't have to believe in all this junk about pantheons and many gods and goddesses. You don't have to believe any of the myths from ancient religions at all. You can believe in one goddess. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha Wolf signing off. Have a great week and take care.